So Brooke is someone I have the privilege of working with in this co-design of a program called Solidarity Matters, which is taking partnerships and collaboration beyond into solidarity, and that it's on the premise that, based on everything you've heard so far, that the movements have to come together, and it's not collaboration, or it's deep solidarity, and there is a way to facilitate that. So this course that we're designing is 10 weeks, and there'll be spaces open to some. We're adapting it to Southeast Asia. They did a global one, and so Brooke is one of the key designers, and her organization, Courage to Care, something like that. So the work of solidarity doesn't really focus on issues. It doesn't focus on its social justice, its environmental justice, it's food, it's energy, it's whatever, the thing that you're passionate about and burning up for. It focuses, you retrain your eyes to look at the tissue between all of us. And it's also the tissue within ourselves. They call it relational tissue. So when we encountered trauma, whether it was our ancestors, whatever, great grandmother, grandfather, or whoever, it becomes embodied in us. We don't even know. It's not even conscious. And then we are creating our world from that trauma-based place. So tending to relational tissue and relational care and relational capacity, instead of capacity building, to build skills, learn how to map, learn how to, make compost. You learn how to tend to relational tissue. And that's just seeing the in-between, everything in between, within ourselves, between each other, between our organizations, with our government, with our politics, whatever, on and on. And since I've been working with her, I've been also retraining my eyes, and I'm like, I see things I never saw before. So when I sit in a government meeting the other day, I was like, change my glasses, but look at relational tissue. I was like, oh my God. All I saw was trauma. It's like mind-blowing. And then I actually feel sadness. I feel grief. And and then I go so deep, and I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then everything makes so much sense. So if you go down so deep that the constructs, the hierarchical or whatever, oppressive constructs, you can see why it became that way. Because that's what we built collectively. All of us were part of it. To conserve ourselves. Preserve ourselves because of the fear of hurt, the fear of pain, the fear of being seen in our pain, all those things. So that's Brooke lah. She's not going to be here in person, obviously, but she'll be. I think it's a 20-minute session, and she will help. It's like a tuning. It's like literally like a tuning that you just learn how to tap into. Because we can all do it. This is that we've been training ourselves to do something completely different. Yeah, so it's kind of reawakening that capacity that we all have, the relational capacity. So we will listen to her. She kind of guides us through it a little bit, yeah? And then the video will end, and we will just continue in silence for 10 minutes or so. And then we come back and then unpack that a little bit. Okay, so let me introduce this woman for a second. Her name is Trisha. Trisha, this who will be speaking with us, her name is Trisha. She founded something called the NAP Ministry. And her ancestors were slaves from the continent of Africa brought to the US, working on cotton plantations. So she found that as the generations unfolded, all the way to her generation, she had this systemic exhaustion. Her body was just exhausted. And so it was in her DNA to be chronically exhausted. And at some point she realized it was an ancestral exhaustion from the times of working on cotton plantations. So we've been talking about the body. In the language they use, they say somatic. So it's become physical. Your trauma has become physical, and you don't even know it. It's so many generations. So she will guide us through why rest is resistance. So she will be talking for a few minutes about that, and then she will go into a guided nap. So for her, it became essential to stop the exhaustion. Like that in itself was resistance. She had to reclaim her body from capitalism. So she asked the question, how will I be useless to capitalism today? And basically it's like, I'm going to sleep. I'm going to have a nap. I'm going to rest my body. So for those of you who feel a resonance, you don't know your ancestry, maybe your grandmother, grandfather, great, somewhere there was indentured servitude. There was something where they were brought somewhere to work the land, to build roads. We don't know. And that was handed down generation after generation until it's so compacted that you don't know what it is anymore. But in rest, you may unravel it. So let's press play.